All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing today? First things first, if let's see, if you guys aren't familiar with who I am and how I trade, first of all, my name's John or Johnny, either one goes. But I like to approach trading in a different light, or at least something that's a little bit unique or different than what most people do. Um, the strategy that I use and a strategy I've been using for a while now, it's called the ABC strategy. All right. And basically all the ABC strategy is a modified version of LA wave theory. But what we try to focus on with using the ABC strategy is focusing on trends in groups of threes and identifying possible reversal or continuation setups. Right. All that really means is, for example, if you guys are familiar or if you kind of understand what LA wave theory is, pretty much you're looking at price trends and aggressive groups of fives, right? And then you have nice pullbacks in groups of three, right? Or an ABC or WXY. There's different rules. There's a lot of variations to some of these waves. There's a lot of different things that you look for. And overall, it's very complicated and very, how do I say this? Um, it's complicated and it's a little bit more intricate than I would like to see or I would like to use as a consistent system. So, I read a book called The Case for Modification of R and LE Wave Theory by Ian Copsley. And basically, his argument was that you can actually take your impulse waves, right, and actually group them into ABCs instead. And by doing this, you eliminate a lot of the guessing factors when it comes to trying to trade using LA wave theory. And I took it a step even further and said, instead of using ABCs and trying to predict exactly where price is going to go, because according to the book, that was another big thing he talked about, is using ABCs, focusing still on certain fib retracements or extensions. I took it a step further, and well, I didn't take it a step further. The ABC method takes it a step further in terms of making things easier by, instead of using projections and trying to time exactly where the markets can top out or bottom out, which I personally believe is not a healthy way to go ahead and approach trading because you never truly know what the market is going to do. And setting expectations either too far or too far ahead or too close behind, somewhere to where you're not allowing price to go ahead and actually show you where it wants to go. So basically, what we did instead is all you would do is look at things from an ABC perspective. All right. Once you identify an ABC, in this case, this is a short setup. So once we identify the ABC, we have the pivot of the A, which marks the entry of our short. All right. We have a retracement for a B. As soon as we get an extension for a C, even if it's a tiny wick or if we continue a decent amount above, all we're looking for is to short every time price gets back below the pivot of the A. All right. And then vice versa for long positions. We're looking for an ABC downtrend. Right. We identify the pivot of the A as our bullish entry. Right. As soon as price gets back above, can reclaim that level, maybe retest. I'll go over that shortly here, but I don't wait for retest. I don't wait for any other confirmations. I use exact levels. As soon as price crosses above or below, if you're looking at the short example, I take my entry. Or in this case scenario for a long entry is that we're looking for price to get back above the pivot of the A. Then we can go ahead and wait for the retracement and then continuation. Or just overall price to continue in our favorite direction. So that's the easiest way to explain it. I'll show you, you'll see more examples and we'll go over more situations as we go ahead and talk about today's today's update. But yeah, just want to let you guys know, inform you guys what the ABC method is in regards to how it's done, what I look for, and just overall a very general, easy concept. But you'll see more as we talk about examples in price. How I'm able to make these trades, how sometimes these trades end up being monster runners, and we can go ahead and I'll show you more examples as we go ahead and continue through today's analysis. Let's see. First, I know there's a couple comments here in the YouTube chat. Alif, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hey, Joe, what's up, man? Yo, just swinging by. Happy FOMC day, y'all. yeah, we'll see what happens. I know Jerome Powell's gonna be speaking here soon. I'm sure that's gonna cause the markets to move a little bit, but I'm excited to see what happens. And also, guys, if you are in chat, right? Um, please feel free to ask me any questions, whether you're watching on the YouTube or Twitch end. And for those who are here on Discord, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic if you want to ask me something, or if you want to leave a question in chat. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on it. So please feel free to ask at any time. Feel free to interrupt. Don't wait for me to finish. So yeah. Oh, come on. Why does this do this? So first things first, I like to look at things from a macro lens, from a macro perspective. And usually what I'll try to look for is we're looking for ABCs, or at least look for what possible ABCs could be forming. And then we can kind of go ahead and gauge what the market wants to do, where it could be going, and talk about the possibilities of setups, or at least longer term ideas of how we can go ahead and approach trading, right? So what I mean by that is, first, we got to go ahead and look at the overall bear market here, right? In this entire trend. So for me, I do see a very nice ABC. All right. And inside each of these waves, we have a nice set of ABCs here, which I love to see. Usually when I see a nice ABC completed within each trend, it gives you a little bit more validity of the ABC itself. Let's see. Sorry if this question is dumb or non-persistent. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Is the ABC pattern similar to the ICT, MSS, Chojin, or Breaker Block? Unfortunately, Key Poems, I have no idea what that other strategy is. Maybe. I don't know. If anyone else knows what that is, maybe you guys can clarify that for me. But unfortunately, I do not know what the other strategy is. But as we continue to go along, if you can make a connection, that's maybe the case, but I'm not too sure, unfortunately. Alley Cat, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Aren't you in oh no, never mind. But yeah, good to see you. Let's see, I'm all caught up on chat here. Okay, cool. Bidarius is typing. As he's typing, I'll go ahead and continue to explain. ABC is similar to stop loss hunting. Yeah, it's like a liquidity grab strategy. I'll go over that and why it works here, but if you guys want me to clarify on that. But let's just go over the TA here and I'll get started. So ABC. Now, one of the things that I talk about, especially that I see more on smaller time frames, but it does apply to the macro perspective sometimes, is what you'll find is ABCs sometimes what it'll do is it'll actually form a larger structure, right? So what we might think is the beginning of an actual reversal might be just a pullback and then a continuation, right? How we go ahead and identify these setups and how we can prevent getting caught up in little ones like these is focusing on larger time frames, right? Notice how if I go to a 15-minute or even a 5-minute, what you'll end up seeing is you'll see that sometimes ABCs, like this one here, you'll think, oh, cool. Hey, this is a long position. And yes, you are correct. Technically, that is a long trade. But what ended up happening is it actually became a part of a larger A to a B to a C. You wouldn't got stopped out. So that's just an example on a smaller time frame. It's very common on smaller time frames, but it can absolutely happen on the larger scale. So what I like to do is talk about the possibilities of what could be happening. Now, talk about these possibilities. You guys have to understand. I might have my own bias. If you guys decide to pursue this further, the charts might be showing you a different bias, or at least a different overall larger idea that you might be coming up with. Just keep in mind, anything is possible. The way you can navigate this as best as you can is just by keeping an open mind and understanding all the possibilities of what could be going on, not just being too strict on one thing. I might see an ABC here. Some people might be absolutely, dead set on being bullish because of that. And you know what? That could be the case. That's absolutely possible. But I like to go over different possibilities, which, you know, I will get to that here shortly, but I just want to let you guys know that even though I might sit here and say, you know, I believe this is going to happen, I believe this is going to happen, this is based on experience. This is based on time in the market. This is based on understanding how market moves to an extent, and also understanding the possibilities of how price can go ahead and take advantage of people's emotion, take advantage of, you know, people's biases. You know, if people think we're all very bullish in this area, that's a perfect opportunity for us to dump, and vice versa. Um, so with that being said, just want to let you guys know, when I go over these larger ideas, I just want to give you guys an idea that, look, I'm not dead set on one of any of these options. I'm keeping all these options in mind. And once we can go down to the smaller time frame and navigate what's going on, we can try to go ahead and play into the possibility of these larger moves happening. So, first things first, ABC. If you guys want to say that this is the bottom, absolutely a valid claim. Not going to argue against that. I think that's definitely a valid idea that you guys can go ahead and come up with. We have an ABC within the C. The bullish pivot, basically, you'd be taking entries about 17,650. Unfortunately, I did not take a macro swing trade, but I did buy a good amount of spot once we got back above, just in case. So I'm sitting pretty in a spot position. So that's basically one option on the table. And that's more of the bullish idea that eventually, even if we do go ahead and pull back, that eventually we're going to keep going up. All right. The other alternative, which is more of the bearish option, this is something I'm going to show here in a second. All right. To me, this is the most bearish idea that I have going for Bitcoin at the moment, where we have an ABC, but like I said before, sometimes these ABCs can become larger A waves, right? We have an ABC for an A. We're working on an ABC to a B. Whether we topped out here, we put in one more high, that we can talk about once we get to the smaller time frame. And then the next possible leg down is most likely going to go ahead and test lower lows. Now, like I said, this is the most bearish bias, right? I'm not saying that this is absolutely going to happen, but I think if we are going to put in a larger ABC like this, I would love to see this play out on a much larger scale, giving us a much higher confidence trade to go ahead, or higher probability trade to go ahead and be a little bit more optimistic in the market once price reclaims that region. We can go ahead and go up. To me, that's the most longer term bullish idea that I have, even though it does lead to price going down and putting in new lows. Just keep that in mind. Another middle of the road option, all right, is where we do put in a larger pullback. All right, but eventually we go ahead, put in an ABC pattern. Hopefully we can go ahead and take a long position and ride the next wave up. This move might be a little bit elongated. All right, and unfortunately, you know, I don't know exactly when this is going to bottom out, if it is going to bottom out. But we have to go ahead and just think it might take its time if we do put in a larger pullback before putting in a new high, or at least going in and testing new highs. This is kind of the middle of the road option I have, but it still leads to, I think, a larger pullback regardless. So that being said, that's pretty much the gist of the longer term time frame. Now we can go ahead and go focus on the smaller time frame, or I guess our main trading perspective. Okay. All right, and we can go ahead and talk about the possibility of what is going on in this region here. So for me, we can focus on an A to a B to a C, which leads to a larger A. We have an ABC down here for a larger B, and we did put in a nice ABC for a C wave. Now, you can make an argument that the C wave isn't done yet. We can put in one more high and put it in a situation, or at least give us a situation like this, where we're just pulling back, continuation higher. Absolutely the case. So, with that being said, before we can consider that as an option, one of the things I do is that once we identify an ABC, I mark out this level as a pivot, because remember, we're focusing on highs and lows of trends. To me, this is the highest point, a separation, continuation. So as long as we're below 29,200, that is a short entry for me. And I've been taking this short entry, even though I've gotten stopped out, I believe a couple times on this, because I'm using about a 2% stop. So I've gotten stopped out a few times, but I do plan on holding this for a longer period of time. I'm not saying, like I said, if we do go down, put in lower lows, that's gonna be a nice risk to reward ratio trade. If not, I'll wait for the market to give me an opportunity to tell me when it's time to get out. So that is the most important thing, a position I'm in right now. If it fails, like I said, I'm going to be looking for the next high to go ahead and try to short that. And to be honest, if price can hold back below once we put in an ABC here, I'm pretty much going to be done shorting. Right, that's going to be it for me. That's going to be the last leg, until price either comes back down to that region, or if we just go ahead and continue way past it and maybe put in a higher ABC or much larger ABC at a higher price point. Let's see. Hey Johnny, can you tell me if Matic bullish setup on 157.59 to 94.14 is valid, and where could be a possible spot for take profit? Okay. Yeah, I definitely can go over that. Let me just finish with the Bitcoin TA here, and then I'll jump to Matic, and then we can talk about that in a second. So, pretty much that's the only serious update I have for you guys about in regards to what I'm doing. All right, I'll mark out these levels for you. Just remember, it's if this and that for me. I'm very static when it comes to my entries. I don't look for anything else. To me, it's if we're below, we short. If we get stopped at above, we wait until we get back below or put in a new position. So that's pretty much the plan. Let's see. And that's all I really have for BTC. That's the most important thing. Understanding the larger setups, what could be going on. Like I said, we have a very nice completed ABC on a larger time frame. All right. I'm on a 2-hour time frame, completely zoomed out. You can see the entirety of this entire, you can see the whole trend here. All right. It's a nice developed ABC. Now, it really depends on where the actual C wave is going to end up. We can either top out here or put in one more high before I feel comfortable, saying that this is completed, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right. And then let's see. Let's go over to Matic for Supreme Cat here. Let's see, $1.57. Okay, are you talking about the one you see on screen? Supreme Cat? Let me know. Yes. All right. Yeah. So we did put in a lower low, I believe. Yes. So we did put in a very slight lower low. So technically, you would have taken that entry if you are looking to take that position. So as long as we're above 94.16, I think that's a good long position to take. I don't know where your stops are. Usually with altcoins, I like to give it a little bit more breathing room. So I'll usually go like 4 to 5%, maybe like 4% on that. Even if you take it to the top, it's a 15. Usually what I try to do is when it comes to these larger positions, all right, we don't know where the market's going to top out. So I don't necessarily like to take profits at exact resistances because you never know how price is going to react once you go ahead and test that region. If we reject, we go with a larger ABC to the downside, reverse, fantastic. If not, I definitely do my best to try to hold this as much as I can because even on a 4% stop loss, it's a 40 risk reward ratio. I know that's a massive swing, but even if you're using, like you said before, like a 1 to 2%, that is a massive stop loss percentage. Or sorry, that's a massive R&R trade. Even if you take it to the top, that's a 32. So I definitely think, if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. What I try to do when it comes to taking actual profit on trades is I wait for something called the continuation setup or a continuation method. So what the continuation method is, for example, in this case, we have an ABC long position. All right, we take the entry. Price goes ahead and reverses. We continue to put in significant uprise. All right, guys, like this doesn't apply if we get a slight pump. I'm looking for a significant move in our favored direction. All right. Once we get that favored move or that larger move in our direction, what I will do is I will wait for another ABC position. All right, of a similar size. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size as this, but something I can see on the same time frame that shows me a nice clear separation in trend. And from there, what I will do is I will take profit and then re-enter once price. Well, actually, I'll take profit as soon as the C crosses the A, and I'll re-enter once you get back above, and hopefully catch another leg to the upside. Right. That's how I go ahead and take profit. Is I just wait. To me, it's a waiting game. A really good example of a position of a continuation setup that I've taken in the past is that I have nailed the bottom of the market. Right. There was a nice ABC trade on this dump. That my position ahead of time got filled was pretty much exactly the exact low. I don't know anyone else who's gotten even as close to me, basically without using any crazy indicators or any crazy lower time frame. Just basic chart patterns. Was able to catch that long position, and I held it through the entirety of this move until we got to about here. Right, it was off of this ABC. The reason why the reason why I let go of that trade was because at this moment in time, you don't know exactly where price is going to go. We significantly moved in our favor. All right. So with me, I can get away with using a little bit of a smaller setup compared to the original. But you have to keep in mind is that this only works if you allow price to, move. What is this? What percentage move is this? Almost 50% in your favor, just off chart price action, which is a lot. With leverage, it's even more. I think this was like over 1,000% trade for me. So you got to keep in mind, if you're going to take a continuation setup, allow price to breathe, allow price to move in your favorite direction. Wait for a continuation to give you another opportunity to take higher or to take another trade to a higher price point. That's how I go ahead and approach my take profit. So for your Matic position, Supreme Cat, what I would do is just let it run. Hold it and let it run. Wait for price to give you another opportunity to take profit. Even if it's somewhere down up here, or even if it's not exactly at the top, it's still a massive trade. So let's see. Alley Cat, I need to leave Bybit. I signed up to Fairdesk. What is the status of the trigger trade support? So great question. I believe Alley Cat, I'm not sure about a time frame specifically. I know that William has been working on it. So I definitely think here soon that we'll definitely be able to see, or we will, excuse me, definitely be able to go ahead and try to get incorporated with Fairdesk on Trigger Trade as fast as possible. But based on what I know it's in the work in progress. So hopefully here soon. If I have an update for you, I'll let you guys know. Because trust me, I'm waiting for it as well. But at the moment, I don't have a dead set ETA on that. Let's see. Thanks a lot. Cleared a lot of concerns. I appreciate that, Supreme Cat. Let's see. Grad, do you use fibs to see where B and C? I do not, because the thing is that we don't necessarily know exactly where price is going to, reverse at a certain point. What I mean by that is, for example, there's some situations where it works. There's some situations where it doesn't. The problem is, let's say you try to use standard fibs here. For example, what I try to do is I try to look for the. Let me go ahead and Paps, if you can do me a favor and just mute your mic, please. There's a lot of feedback coming through. Unfortunately, I don't not have the ability to put you on mute. I'm sorry about that. I decided to mute him because I know there's other people watching on the stream side of this. But usually I try to look for is the 0.5 to 0.441. Now, I know this would have been a nice entry here, but in the past, what I have seen is that sometimes we'll go ahead and presume certain levels to be hit, and they never get hit. And from there, usually I don't use fib extensions. You can, but the main factor when it comes to this is trying to take out the predictive. Try to take out the predictive side of this. It's hard to tell exactly when price is going to top out or bottom out. Yes, sometimes you could do a good job. In this case, it would have been a decent buy setup. But even still, even if we're looking for certain fib targets to be hit, I still need an ABC. If I don't get an ABC, I'm not taking that position. So even though we did, touch the 0.5, the 0.441 region, I didn't take it because there was no indication of a bottoming structure there. And same thing goes for extensions to target the C. I don't necessarily, for example, right here. Usually the math, what should be, is pretty much what you're looking for is if depending on where price retraces. So in this case, it's a one. Actually, I have to draw this the other way. All right. Even though we got close to the 0.5 region, we pretty much touched it. You're pretty much looking for the 0.5. The reason how I came up with that answer is that you have the 1, right? And then the 50%. So 1 and 50% together equals 150%. So you're targeting, you would have targeted 13K, but look, we just got a lower low and we never touched that. And we just continued to pump. So in certain situations, don't get me wrong, it can help. But the problem with trying to look for extension targets is that you don't know where price is going to reverse, right? Even though in this case, we're looking for 150% extension, we never got past the previous. We got a little wick past the previous low, and that was it. So grad, you can use fibs. I just don't think it's the best way to approach it because you're not getting the most out of a market move. And let me give you another example. So another example what you would do, you're trying to time the B wave for the same exact trade. Right. So let's say you took this ABC, but let's say you're looking for a larger A wave. Right. You take the long position, but you're only targeting the 0.5, the 0.4 for one for a B. And you're still looking for that 13K extension. Right. So you would have took this entry here. You would have taken profit here. And look, you just would have missed out on the entire run up. Because yes, even though your profit target would have been hit, there was no serious significant ABC entry. Even here, if you got a lower low here, maybe, but you never got that lower low. So you just would have been sitting on the sideline and you would have watched this entire thing happen from the sidelines. So unfortunately, like I said, it's tough because you just don't know where price is going to go. So I try my best to, because of certain situations like this, I try not to be too predictive. Let's see. Thanks a lot. Much appreciated. In the past, I've used fibs. Bull run. Think the market structure was correct at the time. Now it's less effective to try to adapt. Would you use the ABC continuation strategy? Thanks. Thanks once again. Yes. So the continuation method thrives on aggressive bull markets. Unfortunately, we just haven't had really good entries. I mean, I took on ETH trade, which we'll talk about here shortly, but pretty much that's all you're going to be doing. One of the examples I like to give is during the previous bull market. All right, there wasn't too many positions, but the ones that did hit were massive. Let's see if we can find some first. I don't remember exactly because even here, no ABC. All right, there was one here. So you would have taken this one. All right, so that's your first trade. Let it run, wait for another continuation setup. You really didn't have any serious continuation setup, so this would have been a monster trade until you got to maybe about 18K. You would have taken another one, compounded all the money you made, re-enter. You might have got stopped out maybe once or twice, re-enter it again, right? Wait for another one, bang. You might have got stopped out maybe once or maybe 2 to 3 times. Same thing now. Take another setup, ride the wave. Same thing. Yeah, I probably would have taken this one too. Same thing. You would have got stopped out a couple times. Take another trade up. You guys have to realize, even though I say you got stopped out a couple times, you got to understand the bigger picture. Even like a 2% stop, 20 R&R. You know, overall net positive an 18. Do it again here. Net positive about a 10. Even though if you get stopped out 2 or 3 times, you're basically riding the wave up. Even on this trade. That was a 16. And on this trade, it was a 12. So actually, no, I'm sorry. A 2%, a 52. So 52%. So I got to redo my math. 52 R&R. A 25 R&R. Come on. Oh, got to add an extra 0. Even still, but you could see regardless, even though some of these continuation setups, there was good distance between them, you would have absolutely made a killing off of the bull market. So that's when continuation method strives or does its best, when it's in aggressive uptrends, even aggressive downtrends. I've talked about this in videos in the past. If you would have taken a continuation on the bear market all the way down, you would have walked away, even if you just took shorts, you would have walked away with just about 250% the entire way down. Where else can you actually go ahead and make 250% in a bear market? Beta Bot, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. All right. That was some great questions. Let's make sure. But Grad, let me know if that clarifies things for you. Let me know if that answered your question. Definitely does. Thanks a lot. No problem, my friend. No problem. So, that being said, I gave you guys the levels I'm looking for BTC. We talked about Matic real quick. I want to talk about ETH, some other coins. And like I said, guys, you guys are absolutely doing a great job with the questions today. So I really do appreciate it. If you have any more, please, as we continue to go along, I'll keep my eye out on a chat. So if you guys want me to address something, please let me know. So for the larger time frame for Ethereum, all right, there's a couple things I want to keep in mind. Let's see, what is this? What I just did. Okay. So Ethereum, kind of the same thing, slightly different, but almost the same. We have an A2, B2, C. All right. And then now, question is this the beginning of something or the end of something? If this is the beginning of something, all right, we have to look at a couple different scenarios of what could be going on. First things first, I'm going to give you guys the most bearish idea that I have. All right. We have an ABC for an A, which is the orange A. We have an ABC to a B, which is a larger orange B. And I think if we are going to be a little bit more on the bearish side, like I said, I have this highlighted most bearish case scenario for a reason. I think if we are going to put in a massive reversal, if this is going to be a larger ABC, I would most likely like to see a new low be broken. Now, we don't have to go ahead and go all the way down to $400, but all I need is a slight wick. If we can get reclaim above that level pretty aggressively on a strong move to the upside, that's going to be a little bit more. That's going to show a lot more confidence in a possible bullish reversal setup for me. So something I'm keeping my eye out just in case. The pivot of that ABC bearish setup or bearish pivot is about 2030. And so I've been holding that short trade for a while. I'm still going to be holding this. This is something that I don't want to go ahead and take profit on too early. I want to maximize the most out of this move. To me, this is a massive setup. I'm on an 8-hour and it's still clear as day. So to me, this is a very significant pivot for Ethereum, a very significant resistance. If we cannot if we cannot retain or push past this, I definitely think we're in for a much larger pullback. Right. So that's the most bearish idea. I'm going to give you also more of a middle of the road option, right? To where we ultimately are still bearish, but we do not put in new lows. So what I mean by that is this ABC this completed the actual bear market. We're focusing on a point of we're just retesting resistances, coming back, testing supports. Eventually, we'll come up and put in new highs. So at the moment, like I said, we have an ABC short position. If we continue to fall, I'm hoping to see on a larger time frame, a much larger setup. From there, we'll go ahead and take that and hopefully get a chance to ride the next wave up. All right. To me, this is a kind of a middle of the road option. This is a medium term bearish look as well as a much larger macro bullish look for me. And that's pretty much all I have. I'm for ETH when it comes to the larger time frame. We do have even though we do have the larger, pivot here, we don't absolutely have to hold below this at all. To me, this is about probabilities. The highest probability trades is when price puts in these larger setups can respect these levels. If we can maintain below, like I said, as long as we're below, the probabilities are for more downside. If not, if we continue to, push higher past 2030, we have to talk about another couple things as well. One being that we have to take a look at resistance levels, right? And where price wants to go ahead and test. If we fail to maintain below 2030, we continue to pump, we have a very high possibility of testing 3577 because there's really no significant resistance on the way up. I'm looking based off of peaks of this trend, maybe 3291, but to me, the most significant resistance is at 3577. So just keeping that in mind, and also supports are very important to keep an eye on. If we continue to break down lower, 1369 is the next local low. Besides that, 1071 and ultimately 875. So those are the important levels for me to go ahead and keep an eye out on. Price can react accordingly to any of these, or can react heavily into any of these supports or resistances. Really depends on how price wants to behave, but those are levels to keep an eye on. If we continue to push to the downside, I'm ultimately looking for 1371. If that fails, 1071. If that fails, 875. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Ethereum. Let me show you guys one other thing. Is I'm still holding this long position, right? This is what I was talking about when it came to continuation setups. Now, my original entry was here at 1177. I waited for a long opportunity at a higher price point. To me, I believe this was the best one at the time. So took profit, re-entered, and I'm still holding this to this day. Even if I do get stopped out, it's going to be more of a confirmation that we're going to definitely push down lower. I'm in a short position. I really, at this point, it doesn't matter to me if I get stopped out. I'm still making money on the way down. I'm locking in the profits from this previous position. Let's see. Sky Knight, great TA, man. Are you going to stream the FOMC meeting? If I have time, I will. What time is it, Sky Knight? Isn't he talking right now? Is it at 1:30 EST? Let me know. If I have time, I will, but I want to get through this session, and hopefully if things happen throughout the session, we can talk about it. But yeah, pretty much it for that setup when it comes to Ethereum. You guys also understand where I'm shorting from. That's pretty much the only main positions I have for Ethereum. I've been waiting for this setup to form ever since we pulled back in August of last year. I've been waiting for this high to be tested. The fact that we came back around almost a year later, to me, shows that this is a very significant area of resistance for me. So, let's see. Bedarius, will you move your stop loss on break even or not move it at all and leave it at 3%? For the long or for the short, Bedarius? Because the answer is still the same. For the long, no, I'm still gonna leave it at 3%. I'll take the loss. It really doesn't matter to me. All right. Let's see. All right, let's move on to LTC real quick. Unfortunately, LTC, I've been keeping my eye on it, but I haven't necessarily been paying too much attention to it just because I'm waiting for a more exact level to be tested. To me, the most important pivot let's see. Gray Wolf. Hi. I signed up 2 days ago. Still no access to scripts on tradingview.com. Went through all the steps as described and getting started on group message on TradingView. No one responds. Gray Wolf, unfortunately, I am not the right person for that. That's mostly like if you want to get a hold of Vlad or William. Actually, I would say Vlad. Vlad will probably be able to help you out. He'll be able to point you in the right direction. If not, you could try to get a hold of David, but David's been pretty busy recently. But your best bet is Vlad. I believe the statement releases at 2 p.m. Eastern, 2:30. Oh, okay. Yeah, if I have time, I'll definitely stream. Let's see. Oh, I think you trying to contact Vlad. Okay, cool. If you want, I can give you. I'll tag him. Unless, do you know? I'll just tag Vlad. All right, go ahead if you want to reach out to him. All right, so for LTC, pretty much long story short, bearish ABC at 105. If we put in a reversal, all right, once we get back above, most bearish case scenario, I'm looking for $40. If not, there's kind of a middle of the road option. Ultimately, actually, that's the. Do I not have the middle of the road option? I didn't save it. Pretty much all the middle of the road option is on the longer term is that we go ahead and once we put it in ABC here, right, off of this setup, if we do get a higher high, I'm ultimately looking for another ABC to the downside to form a larger A to a B to a C. Something like that. All right. I'm in no positions on LTC, but the most important level I'm keeping an eye on it and looking for is 105.90. If we never get a black above that, that's fine with me. Let's see. All right. Does anybody else have any altcoins they want me to look at? Any coins they're currently trading or looking to trade? I know there's a couple of you here in the Discord. I'm also taking the time to go ahead and take a sip of water. Let me know if you guys want me to look at anything. If not, please feel free to ask any questions you might have as well. If not, I'll give you guys a couple coins that I'm currently in trades in, but I want to let you guys. I will give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions you might have. Oh, hey, Vlad. How you doing, my friend? I only tagged you. I only tagged you because someone had a question regarding scripts.
Oh, what's the question?
Gray Wolf asked, "Hi, signed up 2 days ago. Still no access to scripts on TradingView.com. Went through all the steps as described in the getting started group. Message on TradingView. No one responds." And I basically said, "I'll let Vlad know because I fortunately can't answer that question."
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll talk to you after the stream, Grey Wolf. No problem. We can fix that within 1 minute. I think I know what the issue is, so bear with me on that.
All right. Let's see. Vlad, do you want me to take a look at anything?
You know the deal.
BNB?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
BNB and BNW. I love the bees,
Gotcha.
you know?
You love the bees.
Yeah. Bees or not, I love them.
All right. BNB is kind of at a squeeze point. The most important thing I'm keeping an eye on is there's a short entry at about 337. We're currently below that, but there's a couple different things we can go ahead and do. I'm still holding my long from 283. We can absolutely put in one more low and reverse from there. It's a little bit more of a smaller setup, but if I go to a 1 hour, that's a nice clear ABC to me. If we continue to pump, the next level I'm looking for a good setup on a short setup is 397. So just keep that in mind. We can absolutely go ahead and put in a setup like this. All right, and then from there we can potentially reverse. So something to keep an eye out on. That's something I'm looking out for. But besides that, 315, 70. If we get back below reclaim, that's a decent long entry. I'm holding my long entry from 283, and hopefully we can retest 397 if we do continue the upside. And let's see. All right, I'll pick one. I'll do ADA. All right, so ADAs, I think this is a great position. I took this When did we get into this trade? On the 23rd, so a couple weeks ago. All right. So you can see I'm on a 2-hour time frame. And guys, when it comes to time frame, the most important thing to understand is perspective. Right. I'm not on a 15-minute looking at every single small move. All right. I'm on a 2-hour time frame, zoomed out as much as I can. Right. And from there, it allows me to see what's important, the important levels, the important structures. So as long as we remain below 42.18, I am going to be bearish. But keep in mind, we are above a macro bullish pivot. Now, that macro bullish pivot, if I go to a 4-hour, is this. All right, that is a much larger ABC. So if we can maintain above 40.10, technically the probabilities for upside are still greater, but I'm definitely more than willing to take that short position because even on a 4-hour time frame, it's clear as day to me. Let's see. Gray Wolf, what do you think will happen with SPY once the Fed speech is done? Is it going up or down or up? Unfortunately, I mean, I think if anything, it is going to start a larger move. My personal opinion. Well, actually, that's actually a really good segue. But before I do, I will talk about that in a moment. Gray Wolf, does anybody else have any questions regarding coins, regarding setups on any cryptos? If not, we're going to move on to traditional markets. I do want to talk about that, Gray Wolf. I do. What do you got, Supreme Cat? Let me know. What do you got? What do you do when you have two opposing setups? That's a great question. On the same coin, different coins, or regardless? Because the answers are still slightly the same. Okay, on the same coin. It depends on where the positions are taken. All right. For example, with Ethereum, all right, I have this long trade from down here, as well as, I have this short trade from up here. Now, there's a very big gap when it comes to the entries, right? One of the most important things I have learned over the course of doing this, especially when you have trades at larger pivots, even though the long trade is not at a larger pivot, one of the things I do understand and recognize is that if this short setup fails, all right, and we keep going up, you have to understand that these trades that I'm taking is I'm aiming for grand slams, all right? I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with baseball setups or baseball terms, but pretty much a grand slam is the best thing you can do in baseball. Bases loaded, you hit a home run, you score 4 points. That's what we're trying to do here. We're not going for a single base hit. We're not going for small little swings. We're taking as big of a swing as we can. So the reason why I'm not letting go of this position is because I'm not 100% certain that we're going to hold below this pivot. Even though the probabilities are to the downside right now, for me, it's never certain. So what do I do if that's the case? Well, what I could do is I could take profit at resistance and hopefully allow price to play in that favor of the probabilities. But what if I'm wrong? Now you let go of a trade that was a pretty good position, and let's say we do go ahead and test $3,500. Well, now you're stuck on the sideline, just letting it rip, right? You did missed out on a lot more profit. So let's say you took profit here. That's only a 10.62 versus the $3,500 resistance is about a 46 R&R. So you're missing out on 3 times the profit, all right, just because you wanted to play exactly where the market was going to go. The beautiful part about this as well is that if this short position does play out, all right, and let's say we do continue to, let's say break, I don't know, 1,300, even if we go down to $1,000, regardless of what happens, I didn't take this trade until we started pumping again. So I never got stopped out. So worst case scenario, I still end up in a net positive, regardless of where we go ahead and take profit on this position. So the beautiful part about this is that regardless of what happens, I'm still winning. Even if, I will be winning a lot more if we pump to the upside. I'd rather take the loss and make less money being right on the short than to take profit early and miss out on this entire move up to the upside if we do continue to pump. Right? That's the main reason why. This is a perfect example of how I approach hedge trades and I take opposing trades on the same coin, even on different coins. I'm trying to look for the bigger picture. And regardless, if you take the right trades and you focus on the longer term swings, you're going to be walking out with money in your pocket, right? It might not be as much, but it's consistent. So that's the most important thing when it comes to understanding why I take trades on opposing sides on regardless if it's the same coin or different coins. Is because I'm trying to play into the possibility of one move happening over the other, but still not missing out, even if I'm wrong. So that's the main reason why. It's better to hold the position, lose a little bit, versus taking money off the table too early and missing out on a big run. So I think I hope that answers that question. That's pretty much the main gist of it. And yes, exactly. Binarius, bigger setup, bigger priority, generally speaking. That's another concept to it too. Is that yes, the bigger setup has the highest probability, but you never know. Even if, like I said, just in the case that I'm wrong, it's not worth me letting go at this region, just in case. Just in case we do. Sorry, I don't want to miss out on more price action in case we're wrong. So I'll gladly take the loss if that solidifies one direction for me. The setup that started the bull run was mediocre. Well, what, the one on BTC? This one? Or the one from the last bull market? The 15K one? Let me know if that's the one you're talking about. Because yes, in some case, the reason why sometimes these setups are indicators of larger moves is because we're coming off of bearish news. This was the FTX dump, right? Everyone was saying 13K, 10K, 8K. Everyone was saying, well, you know what? The market makers understand that. And it goes into the reason why ABCs work so well is because it tricks you into thinking, or at least it tricks the majority of people into taking positions in one direction, but just flipping it right on their heads, right? This creates liquidity areas. You have people taking breakout shorts once you get below that region. While people are selling and taking breakout shorts, big money is buying and taking long positions, right? And that money that people used to sell and take shorts, all right, is used to pump price even higher, right? So what'll happen is you'll have forced shorts down here. Eventually, it'll get liquidated and it'll cause a snowball effect to push price up into these massive moves. And basically, it'll force stops on the way up. So there's people holding shorts from here, just people holding shorts from here, people holding shorts from here, here. There's areas of volume where basically price will go ahead and force people to get stopped out and basically force the other direction to propel even in a much higher velocity. That's the reason why we got this massive move, is because we just kept stopping people out of shorts, especially when we were down here. Let's see, Paps. Hi, everyone's still here learning, but have limited time because of work. But my question is, do you record the live stream? If so, where can I find them? Thanks, Johnny. Loving your teachings. I appreciate that. Yes. So if you do, I will post. Oh, sorry about that. We'll post a link for the live stream. It's on David Tech's live stream channel. So I do a session once a week here, but you can go ahead and watch the rest of this if you can't stick around. All right. If anyone else does have any questions, I want to move over to traditional markets just because I spent a lot of time on crypto. First things first, I know. Let's see who asked about the SPY. Grey Wolf asked about the SPY. So I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on that as well. So for the SPY, Paps, thanks again. No problem, my friend. No problem. We have an ABC here. All right. To me, most bearish case scenario, A to a B to a C. We have a very nice separation in trend between each one of these waves. Right. And ultimately, for the most bearish case scenario, I'm looking for a break below 348. So smaller time frame. If we can get back above 418 and get a false break and break back below, I think more downside. I definitely think what can happen, to answer your question, Grey Wolf, I think something that will definitely screw a lot of people is having price pump and then basically forcing positions up here and pulling price down. That's what I think is probably the most path of most pain. That's what I personally think. But as of now, we still have kind of fighting in this region here. We still have this bearish pivot from the previous ABC, right, which is this one here. But to me, it's not as significant as the one I just showed you. So ultimately, if we can break that previous high and get back below, that's going to confirm more of a short bias for me. But if we fail, we have a couple areas of resistance to go ahead and test, but that'll bring what I should do maybe. All right, and let's say bullish option. Let's say this was it. Let's say this was an ABC correction. That's all we got. Or that's all we get. We never get new lows. I think ultimately I'm still looking for at least a larger retracement for a continuation like that. But I could be wrong. Ultimately, I think an important level to keep an eye on is the top as well as the previous low. Actually, as well as the resistance that we just mentioned, and as well as the previous low. But the previous low is more of a support area. All right, and that's pretty much it for the S&P, DXY. Because I know DXY is important. Okay. All right, so the DXY put in an ABC setup on a short position, but as long as we're above 182, technically I'm still going to be a little bit more bullish on the DXY. The only reason why is because we have an ABC here. Now I know if you go to like a 2-day, there is a massive ABC here, which definitely is something to consider and something to keep an eye on. But you have to understand with these larger levels, right? What will end up happening is price will dance around in this region. It won't exactly respect it to a T, right? It'll kind of dance around in this region. All right. Eventually it'll make a move. Something like that. That's more of an exaggerated example, but price won't exactly. You could see price kind of dance around in this region for a while, and it probably will continue to do so. It's going to take a little bit for price to solidify that area as resistance. So as long as we're above 182, bullish on the DXY. If we can get up to 103 and reject, or if we can't sustain below if we can't sustain below 103, I'm ultimately going to be looking for higher highs for the DXY, or at least a push higher. All right. That's pretty much it, since I can't really make trades on the DXY. Let's do gold. All right. So gold. Okay. Gold is interesting. So we had a bearish ABC off of this 1960 region, but we never came back below. So if that's the case, ultimately I'm looking for price to go ahead and test the ultimate high. Now, if we test the ultimate high, break above, and then reclaim, all right, that is a very potential bearish setup for me. Something like this. All right. Maybe get some sort of head and shoulders pattern. But that is ultimately very bearish for my point of view when it comes to gold. Right. But if we can go ahead and push through and continue pushing higher, fantastic. But if we do not break the highest high, if we reclaim 1960, I am looking for a larger pullback, probably something like this to form. That ultimately, I think in the long term, I think we are going to put in new highs, but that's just my opinion. I am in no positions at the moment, but this is something to consider. Silver, same thing. You know, we've been dancing around $24 for a while. So I ultimately think if we continue to, if we can't get back below 24.58, I'm ultimately looking for $30 to be tested, which is the previous high off of the very large ABC here. You can see in frame. So, do you guys see that in frame? Kind of, sort of. There you go. So, like I said, if we can't get below $24, I'm ultimately looking for $30 to be tested. And depending how we react to $30, we'll determine if we have a much larger play at hand. All right. Let's see. Did that. Let's do Vlad when Lambo. Soon, my friend. Hopefully soon. No, I think it's too it's too early to be bullish, in my opinion, when it comes to BTC and all that. The most important thing I consider is the Bitcoin halving. Usually bull markets like to start about I would say 3 to 6 months after the halving. And so for me, oh, look at this. Apple had I actually bought some Apple here off of this ABC. Wow, Apple's been a runner. I haven't checked on that position in a while. But what I was saying before was it's just too early. It's just too early to be too bullish, in my opinion. Now, can we go ahead and test resistances on the way up? Yeah. But to be calling for a new bull market, I think is a little bit too crazy, in my opinion, at the moment. Usually, like I said, 3 to 6 months after the actual halving, which I think it won't be happening until, like, I heard around August, September of next year. So you guys can do the math. Well, like early 2025, mid 2025 is when we're going to start having a run up. But for BMW, Vlad, and I know you've been waiting patiently, pretty much we're still fighting around that $100 region. You can see it just doesn't want to move. So if we continue to remain below, not so good. But if we push up 124, and then we could talk about a new bearish possibility. But as of right now, that $100 region, it does not like that $100 region.
Ugh.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want me to look at traditional market wise? If not, I'll take any other questions, but I think we're almost done here. I see someone typing. What do you think about Algo? Algo is a great question. Algo is a good suggestion. I'll go ahead and do I have that on? I do have that. Oh, that is a very nice ABC. Okay. So on Algo, just be aware. Yes, there is a bullish setup, but I would also take in consideration the possibility of BTC dumping further. I'm not saying I'm not saying because I think that, don't take the trade. Just keep that in mind. If you want to take that, that's a fantastic opportunity. And as well as if we continue to dump, we have another opportunity here, right? Another A to a B to a C. That is another fantastic setup. So even if you want to wait, I honestly think, me personally, I probably will be taking an algo trade at that 15-cent region. I'm not going to be waiting for that 17. I'll probably wait for the 15. That's because it's a much larger setup. That is a very nice ABC. That was a great suggestion. But if you want to take the 17 one, you can. If not, wait for that 1592 to be broken and then reclaim. So basically just wait for price to get back above once you begin that lower low. So same thing here. If you want to take the smaller one, just wait for, the setup's already complete. So just wait for the price to get back above and take it as soon as it gets back above. I did already. Okay, cool. That's a fantastic trade. I think that's a good trade. I'm on a 2-hour. Even on a 2-hour, that's a clear as day setup. But, just be aware it can fail. Go test 1592. Just definitely consider that an option. Thanks. No problem. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for me or anything you want me to take a look at? You guys have been absolutely fantastic today. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. All right. If that's the case, I really do appreciate you guys. Thanks again for stopping by. If you guys want to go check out my YouTube channel, let me go ahead and just pull that up here for a second. I also gotta change my screens. So if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, I'll also switch it here as well. Stop sharing screen. What's up, guys? It's me. If you guys want to check out the YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. I live stream 3 times a week. And if I have time, I might hop on live stream actually in a little bit. I might just have to go over and out of the house for a moment. So if you guys want to hang out with me, watch the FOMC stuff, that would definitely be fun. I have a great time doing so. But I'm going to try to make it by 2:30. I definitely won't be able to stream at 2 because I have to leave the house for a little bit. But probably the 2:31, I'll go ahead and check out, or I'll go ahead and probably stream for a little bit, see what happens. So I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, be good, be safe. I'll be here next week, hopefully around the same time. If things change, I'll let you guys know. But if not, I'll see you on the next stream. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.